What's up guys, Dan here for BladeReviews.com, and today we got a little knife comparison. I've got the CRKT SPEW and the CRKT Minimalist, and I'm going to put them head to head and do a little knife showdown for you. Run through some of the similarities and differences. Hopefully help you out if you are in the position where you're trying to decide between one knife or the other. So to get things rolling, got the camera zoomed in and I've got some specs that I'd like to kind of read off to you. The SPEW has an overall length of 6¼ inches. It's got a 3-inch blade, whereas the Minimalist just over 5 inches, and it's got a 2 1/8 inch long blade. So yeah, the SPEW is definitely the bigger knife here. Let me kind of move the knife forward a little bit so you can see differences in the blade length there. The weight, 3 ounces for the SPEW, whereas the Minimalist weighs in at 1.6 ounces, and the price tag is $30 for the SPEW, and the Minimalist is closer to $20, at least at the time of this video. So there you go. They're both small, everyday carry blades. In this case, with the Minimalist, I do have the Wharncliffe version, which makes for a nice comparison. They do, of course, offer this in a Bowie and a modified Tanto version as well, so that's just something to keep in mind. All right, let's zoom things out and get these knives in hand a little bit, go over some other things, and both are full tang knives here, and the steel is going to be 5 CR13 MOV, regardless of the knife you choose. And 5 CR it's all right stuff. I've had a fair amount of experience with it at this point. I've owned Minimalist for a couple years now, and the SPEW, I've had pretty much ever since it came out. And 5 CR, it's nothing to write home about. It's not as good as 8 CR, at least in my experience, but it will certainly cut, and it's certainly capable of getting an edge that is serviceable for everyday stuff. In terms of getting a really fine edge, a mirror polished, hair shaving edge, I don't think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened for me, at least, and I've used a couple different techniques, but in terms of just getting a serviceable working edge, yeah, I think that the 5 CR is adequate, and you should be able to do that. So there you go. Both blades have been given a blasted finish, so it looks nice. It's been hiding scratches and stuff well. No issues with rust or corrosion, so that's always nice to see. In terms of thickness, they are pretty much the same. The Minimalist might be just a little bit chunkier. The handles are where we start to see some differences here. The Minimalist features some sort of micarta for the handle scales, kind of a nice dark green micarta, which is cool. A little surprise if you haven't handled one and you do happen to get one, you might be surprised to see that, and because it kind of usually looks like black in most of the pictures and videos, but it's dark green. The SPEW, on the other hand, has a G10 handle, and you've got this interesting red and black layered G10, and it's been given sort of interesting design pattern on it. Adds a little more traction. Looks pretty cool. So level of fit and finish is comparable for both of them. Nicely done, especially for the money. When you go back to the price tag, you're not paying much money for either of these, so they're actually really nicely finished, considering. All right, let's talk briefly about the ergonomics. The Minimalist here, it's a 3-finger knife. You could maybe say 3.5 with the lanyard, but despite that, very comfortable, surprisingly capable. If you haven't seen my review on the Minimalist, it might be worth checking that out. But you got that nice grip on it, you got some functional jimping, certainly capable of getting some work done. Same with the SPEW. Really, it's a 3-finger, 3.5, maybe 4 if you have small hands, finger knife, but again, good grip on it considering the little lanyard helps, and there is some jimping on the top there, so you're able to get a good grip on it. So very practical. I think these are both nice, practical choices for daily carry. Let's talk briefly about some of the accessories, some of the extra stuff you get with the knives, and one of my favorite things is the sheath. The sheath on both these knives are great, molded plastic sheaths here. They offer excellent retention, going with a snap. The one on the SPEW seems to have a little bit of rattle, but not a big deal. Not a deal at all, really, considering the Minimalist has got a very snug sheath. Fits great, no rattle at all. So that's quite cool. And you'll see that you've got a bunch of eyelets here, so there's a lot of different attachment points, and you do get some attachment options with the knives. You get this little belt loop, which I personally don't use. I just carry these knives in my pocket. But you get that belt loop if you want to use it, and you get a little length of cordage here that could be used for perhaps used as a neck knife or for tying it on the gear or whatever you want to do with it. So it's nice. You get those options, and it really is a complete package. So that's pretty much it. In closing, I guess the million-dollar question is if I could only keep one, or if I could only buy one, which one would it be? Personally, I would lean towards the Minimalist, just because it seems to get everything done that the SPEW does, but it gets it all done in a much smaller and lighter package. And for a discreet daily carry fixed blade knife, I think it's very tough to beat. And the price tag and the fit and finish and the materials, it's hard to go wrong. But that said, I think the SPEW is a great knife in its own right. I've enjoyed carrying it as well. It's certainly also quite capable for daily use, and for 30 bucks, it's hard to beat that one too. So that's the comparison, guys. Let me know if you've got any questions about either of these knives. If there's anything I left out, feel free to ask. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support, and I look forward to making many more knife-related videos. So until then, guys, I'll catch you later.